Thelonious Monk, born in 1917, was not only the most cerebral pianist in the history of jazz music, but also the greatest composer of the bebop era. His compositions like Epistrophy, 1942, and the immortal Roundabout Midnight, 1944, were composed for the orchestra of Cootie Williams. I Mean You, 1946, was created for Coleman Hawkins' band, and 52nd Street Theme, June 1945, became a bebop classic when it was recorded by Dizzy Gillespie and Charlie Parker. At the same time that his compositions were leaving a mark on the transition from swing to bebop, Monk's piano style in Coleman Hawkins' band, which he joined in 1944, was confusing the audience. His style was outside the jazz tradition, eccentric, laconic, and almost counterproductive, emphasizing pauses over rhythm and clustered chords instead of linear development. Monk's recordings of his own compositions established a higher musical standard than jazz was used to. His notable works include Humph and Thelonious, both October 1947, for a piano sextet, Well You Needn't, off minor, and the tender ballad Ruby My Dear, all October 1947, for a trio, Monk's Mood, November 1947, for a quintet, and Evidence and the bluesy Misterioso, both July 1948, for a piano quartet with Milt Jackson on vibraphone. Monk's art was a calibrated balance of deconstruction and estrangement techniques. His music incorporated elements of stride jazz, boogie-woogie, blues, and nursery rhymes, woven into an anarchic patchwork of overtones. The listener was often disoriented by the fragile, naked ambiguity of his music, which masked a hidden orchestral quality in his piano playing. A piano quintet with Jackson on vibraphone, Sahib Shihab on alto sax, and Art Blakey on drums produced pieces like Ask Me Now, Straight No Chaser, 4-in-1, and Criss Cross, all July 1951. Another quintet with French horn player Julius Watkins, Sonny Rollins on tenor sax, and Percy Heath on bass, was immortalized on the album Thelonious Monk and Sonny Rollins, November 1953, with tracks like Friday the 13th and Think of One. In the piano trio format favored by his friend Bud Powell, Monk sculpted Bemsha Swing, December 1952, the Caribbean-sounding Monk's Dream, October 1952, Nutty, September 1954, Blue Monk, September 1954, and the dissonant Work, September 1954. Monk's first solo album, Thelonious Monk, June 1954, offered solo piano versions of his early classics. Brilliant Corners, October 1956, became his masterpiece, featuring complex chamber pieces like Brilliant Corners and Panonica. Throughout his career, Monk continued to revisit his classic themes. Historical collaborations, such as those with John Coltrane, yielded albums like Live at the Five Spot, 1957, Thelonious Monk with John Coltrane, 1957, and At Carnegie Hall, 1957. Monk died in 1982 at the age of 65, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire and influence jazz musicians and listeners worldwide.